Oh my god, yes!
We're just uncovering crazier and crazier details by this figure.
Good morning, class. Welcome to a reboot. And unfortunately, my cat does not seem to want to join in. My name is Dr. Brian, and today we're going to be talking about the Arkham Academy. It was a series that I had intended on doing years and years and years ago for Arkham City, but never really went anywhere. This time, however, there's a couple of things different. One, we're doing Arkham Knight off-rip, because Arkham Knight is the most recent, most complex, and most jam-packed full of characters Arkham game to date, so there is more to do lesson-wise. B, time has passed. I've gotten better, both at Arkham and at editing and at making videos. So, natural segue. 3, I happen to have the help of a lovely redhead who is more than willing to lend us a hand so that we can all become more badass crime fighters. Ain't that right, Barbie? Right, she doesn't like it when I call her that. And I guess number 4, don't mind the blood stains on my shirt. I'm sorry. I was supposed to have washed this sooner, but too late for that. So, without further ado, let's get started in the Arkham Academy. And in this very first installment, we're going to be talking about the archetypes of these characters. What role they mostly fit in regards to what they have. Next time we'll be talking about enemies. We'll also be doing character-specific breakdowns, map-specific breakdowns, basically everything you could ever want when you enroll into a seminar here at the Arkham Academy. So without further ado, let's get started.
The first order of business whenever talking about Arkham Knight is knowing what you're getting yourself into. That's true for most things, really. When you've beaten the game, you've probably played as Batman and gotten very familiar with all of the tools and tricks that he has available to him, especially if you've completed enough to unlock all of the challenges so that you can play through them. 120% on the first playthrough, 240% on New Game Plus to get the one of the silliest suits in the game, in my opinion. But it's worth noting that not all characters are created equal. So, for this first installment of the Arkham Academy, we're going to be taking a quick look at the types of characters that you will be playing as and what they specifically bring to the table. It's very important to keep in mind that not all characters are created equal. Obviously, I've already said that point literally just a few seconds ago. But this can affect your challenges. In particular, if you have trouble fighting a specific kind of enemy, maybe you'd be better off trying to find another character who doesn't even have to fight those kinds of enemies in the first place. We will start by taking a look throughout the challenges at characters who can fight brutes and who can't fight brutes. We'll be breaking down those enemy types another time, but for now, all you need to know is that the brutes are the big guys, the ones that will block your hits, throw enemies, and generally be a really big pain in your ass. They can show up in certain Predator challenges, but you're more likely to see them in some of the combat challenges. Basically, a rule of thumb, if you can play as the character in story mode, excluding Catwoman, then you can fight brutes. So Nightwing, Batman, Robin, and Azrael all can fight brute-type characters, meaning that if you're scared of the big guys, stay away from these characters for now. That means that Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Batgirl, and Red Hood can't fight brutes. For combat challenges, generally speaking, they are replaced with enemies with shields, which can be a problem if you're a person like me who absolutely despises how busted the shields are in this game. But certain characters can get around that relatively easily, so it is worth keeping in mind. The next thing we're going to be talking about are fear takedown users. And to do that, we need to talk about exactly what the fear takedown mechanic actually is.
The fear takedown is a powerful mechanic allowing certain characters to take down up to 5 opponents in one fell swoop. This example utilizes 3. And requires, and the fear takedown, because it's so powerful, requires a recharge done by utilizing the silent takedown. Complete one silent takedown without being seen, and your fear takedown will recharge, allowing you to do it again.
This is fantastic for crowd control, and you can take down multiple opponents at once this way. In some circumstances, you could take down up to 5 opponents if you have fully upgraded the fear takedown system. And with a little bit of trickery, you can get even more. Hackers are capable of using the remote hacking device, a nifty little tool that allows you to blind drones, set up distractions, and even use the environment to directly take down opponents. And one of its most powerful uses is actually in stealing control of certain pieces of machinery and taking it over under your own power. For instance, these BOA drones can be taken if you steal the control codes for the drones, allowing you to activate the drone's self-destruct function or take down multiple enemies, up to 3 in one fell swoop. This tool is very handy to use, but not everybody has access to it. In fact, Batman, Robin, and Batgirl are the only characters in the game that have access to the remote hacking device. So, if you're keen on getting your cyber attack on, pick up one of these 2 characters and utilize this great power to take down multiple opponents at once or scare the hell out of them.
Hey, the Tropes locking on a me. What's going on? Everything's fine here. Must be a system glitch. Don't worry about it.
Oh, if only it was a system glitch. Alright, now let's move on. An even rarer type of gadget user is the voice copier, or voice synthesizer. These characters, shown here, can use the voice synthesizer to set up traps. And yes, only Batman and Nightwing are capable of using the voice synthesizer. No other character has this nifty little trick to get the job done. By mimicking their leader, you can lead opponents into a myriad of situations, sending them somewhere so that you can set up a fear takedown, setting them up for a kind of takedown like this, where you've sabotaged the crate, or really just getting them out of the way of somebody that you want to take down, like taking out a vulnerable medic. By utilizing the voice synthesizer carefully, you can straight up take out multiple opponents at once. But after enough uses of the voice synthesizer, the boss of the level, as it were, will notice what's going on, and the voice synthesizer will no longer work for the rest of the challenge. So use it diligently. Also, there is a cooldown period because of the reason of using it too much will cause them to get suspicious. But when you can get a 6-piece fear takedown, that price is well worth it. Time to move on to our final lesson. How best to get around. And finally, for this episode, we're going to be talking about the ways that you can get around. More specifically, grapple users. This, unsurprisingly, is basically everybody on the cast except for the Sirens, Catwoman and Harley Quinn. They all have grapple guns, meaning that you can basically grapple to wherever you need to be, which is a fantastic way to get around, especially when you play some of the more limited to get around characters like Harley Quinn and realize, man, you wish you had a grapple gun. Catwoman does not have the same issues per se, but she does have a slower means of ascension that could get her caught if she's not careful. So she is more limited in that aspect than a grapple user like Azrael or literally everybody else on the roster. So using your grapnels smartly will allow you to get the job done in various fashions. Now, this would normally be the part where I would end the video. I've covered basically everything that I need to cover. But I figure it important to, because this is the first part, go over the overall plan for the series. This first episode was merely talking about the characters as categories, lumping them in certain spots. For instance, Batman can fight brutes, he uses fear takedowns, he is a hacker, a voice copier, and a grapnel user. Excuse me. Whereas Robin fits a few of these categories, but not all of them. He can fight brutes, he uses fear takedowns, he is a hacker, but he doesn't have the ability to copy people's voices. And other characters have unique mechanics too. Batgirl and Red Hood have a sort of pseudo fear takedown. Harley Quinn literally has no way to silently take down opponents, etc. But each character will get their own individual breakdown in separate videos that will be coming out later in the week. Hopefully you found this interesting and enlightening for your first lesson of the Arkham Academy. Next time we're going to take a look at enemy types. This is going to be one of your most important lessons, because learning what makes enemies terrifying in their own circumstances will help you learn how to win. After all, know thy enemy is a lesson in the art of war for a reason. Don't forget to be awesome. I'll see you guys on the other side, and I want to know from you guys specifically, which of the 8 playable characters do you want me to cover first? Do you want me to cover Nightwing, Batman, Robin, Catwoman, Azrael, Harley, Batgirl, or the Red Hood? Don't forget to be awesome, and I'll see you guys on the other side.